technologies releasing at a faster and faster rate. So people digested Web3 crypto, and that hasn't really had its massive Cambrian moment. That probably still lies ahead. But it was the fastest adoption of any technology the world had ever seen until AI came along. AI is going so fast that it's literally kind of crypto to the power of 5 or something.
You can't even track it. It's like going
But then
too fast.
there's a lot of other things happening, because like self-driving cars, everyone's like, well, it's never going to work. It's not, it's not going to happen. Then before you know it, they'll be everywhere, and there'll be no drivers. No Uber drivers, no taxi drivers, no bus drivers, no delivery drivers, no truck drivers, no drivers. And that's going to happen probably within less than 10 years. We'll see that at scale. Is, I think, the manifestation of the metaverse, because people have seen that Meta kind of dropped the ball and they don't know where they're going with it. I have a feeling, and I'm not sure, but we know that Apple's headset is coming out in June, I think it is. And there's this whole, I don't know if you've been following this Nerf technology, this digital 3D. It's like digital photography in 3D from your phone.
Wow.
And it basically allows you, from what I can tell, to have photo 3D worlds that you create off your phone. So we're now not talking about like a Unreal Engine developed thing, but we could meet in my physical lounge, which is a 3D. It's kind of mind-blowing, and it looks like Apple is at the forefront of developing this along with the new headset. And again, people think, oh, metaverse, it was just a buzzword, it's gone away. My point being is it's likely to throw its hat in the ring on top of this exponential age. Then self-driving cars come along, then, and so on. And so,
Raoul Pal, the founder of Real Vision, is a prominent advocate and investor in cryptocurrency and blockchain technology. He firmly believes that crypto offers the best risk-to-reward investment opportunity due to its exponential nature and the application of Metcalfe's law, which states that the value of a network increases exponentially as more users join. However, there's another overlooked factor that Raoul considers crucial: the metaverse. Despite the negative sentiment surrounding Facebook's metaverse endeavors and the perception of it being a mere buzzword, major institutions, including tech giant Apple, have been silently working on metaverse projects. Apple is set to release a virtual reality headset in the near future, and Meta continues to advance virtual reality technology and the creation of online worlds. Over time, the fruits of these behind-the-scenes efforts will become evident. Communities will flourish, and people will live their lives within the metaverse, necessitating a native digital currency and a method of transactions within the virtual realm. Cryptocurrency appears to be the obvious solution. In a discussion with Sandy Kuhl, Raoul explores the future of the metaverse, emphasizing how online communities and tokens will drive the adoption of cryptocurrency and blockchain technologies. They also highlight investment opportunities that they believe many investors are currently overlooking. Stay tuned until the end of the video to delve deeper into their analysis of the metaverse.
Please take a moment to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to drop your comment and observations in the comment section below. Thanks and enjoy the video.
Physical world, but without the constraints of the physical world. So we've got used to this, because before I'd have to come to meet you where you were, we'd have to go and sit down somewhere, we'd have people with cameras all over the place, and now it's come that we can just spin up a this is a Riverside or a Zoom or whatever, we can film it. So this is a metaverse experience in its own right. And you and I have chatted many times and never met, but I feel like I know you because we've spent plenty of time chatting and this kind of stuff. And in a few years' time, we'll be kind of sitting next to each other, but not. And what we've redone is, going back to your original hypothesis, is in this new decentralized, globalized, networked world, we're rebuilding societies in ways that still work for humans, but that are different for the digital age.
Very different. And I think in some ways that will add a much more personal dimension to the way that we are engaging, right? These screens are great. I feel like I know you well as well, right? I feel like we have such fun conversations, but it will add that physical dimension to it so that we feel like we are in the same room and visiting with each other, right? And that will take away a lot of this physical need, I think, to traverse the whole globe and to go through the wear and tear of travel, right? Like, people will be able to build relationships all over the world, just like they've used social media forums to build communities all over the world now.
And I don't have kids, but I figured this out a while ago when I went to my oldest friend's house, and it was a Saturday afternoon. We were having lunch, and his son was in a gaming chair with his headphone on, chatting away with Fortnite, I think it was, or one of the big games. And I'm like, what's he doing? Why is he not out playing football with his mates, or doing what we used to do, is hang out at the shopping mall with our friends and drink coffee and figure out where the party was and whatever. And he's like, oh, he's with his friends now. I'm like, what are you talking about? This is, and I realised that he was hanging out. He's got his friend in the US, his friend up the road, his friend in Manchester, and they're all chatting and they hang out all day in this digital world. Now, you and I didn't grow up like that, but that generation, Gen Z, no different. To them, it's kind of weird that you don't have that world.
Well, and it's about connection again, right? We talked about how we used to use phones, and I remember I could only walk as far as the phone cord would allow me, and being so excited when my parents got a longer phone cord because I could go into a different room, right? But it's that same connection. It's just our only options were to get together with other children in the neighborhood to physically connect, because there was no other medium. But now they really are living these very different global lives with people that they can connect with from so many different parts of the world and society. So maybe some real good will come out of that too, and that people will begin to, really start to accept people from other areas more, and accept people from different backgrounds more as they connect more without having the physical limitations of where they're currently located.
So with all of this going on, and you talking to a lot of people, what do you think the next big thing is that people are not seeing? Because there is so much going on. What do you get? Sandy is excited about saying, people don't know this is coming, but this is coming. What's that thing?
I think it's going to be, this idea that I carry my community and its privileges through a token that I can have with me at all times, where it unlocks physical experiences as well as digital experiences.
So,
right?
Web3, you think, is the thread that ties all of this together?
Yeah, I think it creates the economic backdrop, which we've talked about with these networks and these decentralized networks that are extra governmental, right? No government controls them. But what I think it also creates is this ability to execute these smart contracts and this smart contract language in a vehicle that is completely transferable and carryable in a mobile device. So all of a sudden, it's like the ticket to everything, right? It's not just the ticket to the concert, right. It's the ticket to the concert, the ticket to getting into a special community where I'm getting exclusive merchandise and exclusive access. It's the ticket into a set of classes where I might be learning things that are important to me to be able to develop my own skill sets. It's the ticket to travel to meet up with certain other people in the world that are equally as interested as me, right? And as the metaverse develops more, it might be the ticket into really joining into exclusive clubs where I feel like I'm together with these people physically, even though that's still a digital experience. So I think it's this idea that we're starting to now pull the access to this whole digital world, not on a phone. First it was on a computer, then it was on a phone, and now I think it's going to be on a token that we can basically utilize whenever we are, wherever we are, and really create that combination of the physical experience and the digital experience. That's what I'm most excited about.
We've done that at Real Vision now. So we have two different NFT communities. One was our Genesis community, and then second is the Real Vision Collective. And we have token gated access community content, token gated access Telegram, token gated access to our Discord. We've done token gated access Metaverse experiences on Vatom. And yeah, we're building all of this out for exactly the same reason. Is I think this is the future of how like-minded people coalesce around like-minded causes. And
I
we've
love
got
it.
an
I
unbelievable
want to join
community.
the community.
Yeah, so we've even got a fantasy trading league, which is on chain. So we've got teams from around the world competing against each other with portfolios, but it's recorded on chain, so it's immutable. So there's no cheating involved. Eventually, we'll probably tokenize some of those people because that's happening. We're also seeing we've been doing crowdsourced asset allocation by asking people their crypto allocations and then looking at that as a portfolio and seeing how it performs, and it does pretty well because they're highly educated people in the Real Vision network. Now, why would we not tokenize that as a product? Now that disrupts the whole asset management industry because now you've got the crowd making product for the crowd and leveraging their own smarts.
That's right. And I think that is part of decentralization of asset management as well, right? And that is, I think, one of the futures that we at Franklin Templeton are thinking about. How do we participate in that future and still view ourselves as bringing our expertise out to the marketplace in new ways? And a lot of what you're talking about is exactly what we talk about, is bringing our clients and the world into the same portfolios and the same research and the same thinking that we're doing, right? That it's almost like, one of the things I talk about is the future might be the gig world, where everything we do, we don't really have a job. We actually just interact with all these different communities and get incentivized for it because that's where our passion and our interest takes us.
So I also co-founded an asset management business which invests in digital asset hedge funds. The next phase of that is we're creating an NFT community around our LP investors, because normally asset management is, well, you don't get to talk to each other. We just feed you the information that you want and you give us money in return. So we thought, well, why do that? Why not put all these like-minded people, because they're like digital assets, they're generally high net worth or family offices or institutions. Why don't we create an NFT that creates a club for them to be part of? And then that's a place you can show specific deals, or you can facilitate what they want to do. So the decentralized network says, hey, listen, we want to invest in discounted secondary in crypto companies because they're down 80%. So we spin up an SPV for them. Maybe it's tokenized, maybe it's not tokenized. And so the network now works together for the benefit of the network. And that we're doing within an asset management company, which has other stuff. So I'm all over this.
I love it, Raoul. And the other thing with that is think about all these LP investors into these hedge funds. Also, many of them have built their own direct investment and co-investment teams over the last decade. And think of the asset pool that they currently own and how having this type of community gives them such a different option for how to monetize and really get the full value out of those investments and really look to exit those investments in a completely new way, right?
Also think about how good stewards of the space we can be if we can be instant capital. Mm-hmm. So if you think that, the Constitution DAO idea, so imagine there's a startup that wants capital and it might suit our community. They would probably come to us very easily because we're not the big institution that sees 1,000 things. It can be very adaptive because you've got a network of a couple of hundred people and like 10 of them say, yep, we're all in. You do it, you can allocate capital very efficiently that way because you don't have the processes, because the network takes the processes and separates them up. So I think it's going to be super interesting from that as well.
I love it. I absolutely love it. I think it is definitely very forward thinking and a clear extrapolation of where we're headed and why it's going to fit so well with the model of how society is moving, right?
Exactly right. It's giving the power back to the people. And, the more you educate people, the more you give them the tools to succeed and then letting them work together, the better it's going to be. I really think we will see, it's probably still early yet, but I still think we'll see these guilds forming, these kind of DAO-based guilds. Yep. Where, if you think of this world where marketing is getting so disrupted by AI, well, you can have a pool of 100 marketing people who use AI, whatever. A piece of work comes in, quickly gets bid for, quickly gets reallocated out, and the pool benefits from the overall revenues that get captured. And there's a token.
Raoul and Sandy are convinced that a technological explosion is imminent, with a significant portion of it driven by the emerging metaverse. They make a valid point, as the metaverse has been largely dismissed and ridiculed by the media, the public, institutions, and investors. The decline in Meta's share price after their metaverse-focused announcement only reinforced this skepticism. However, perhaps the hasty dismissal of the metaverse was unwarranted. The world's largest and most resourceful companies are investing billions of dollars into metaverse and virtual reality research and development. It's inevitable that significant advancements will arise from these efforts, especially when combined with other breakthroughs such as artificial intelligence and blockchain technology. Consequently, the metaverse could reclaim its prominence in people's minds. The release of Apple's glasses in the coming weeks will provide an initial indication of the metaverse's potential, depending on the public's reception. If, as Raoul predicts, the metaverse grows into something substantial, the need for value and fund transactions will naturally rely on cryptocurrency. This, in turn, will fuel the growth and adoption of cryptocurrencies. What are your thoughts? Do you believe the metaverse will experience a resurgence, or was it merely a failed experiment by Mark Zuckerberg? Share your opinions in the comments below. For more Daily Dose Crypto news, check out these 2 awesome videos on your screen. Click now and we will see you on the next video.